Welcome back everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another review, and today we are doing a video on the Bad Blood Predator from NECA's latest wave of the Predator line. Now when this figure was first released, first heard about, and when I first saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, I was just truly excited because no time before has NECA released a Predator figure with this much insane detail or accessories or just, you know, badass, awesome design. I mean, I haven't actually read the Bad Blood Predator comics. To be honest, I didn't know they existed until I heard about this figure. But when this figure, you know, came out, I had the utmost excitement for it. And already I know this is one of my favorite, not only favorite packages, but favorite Predators in my collection and from NECA's Predator line. So first things first, let's take a look at the packaging. It's a beautiful display as always. I am loving the card, the front of the card. It's very, almost Kenner-like, but you know, has that, those bright green and reds and purples. As always, it has the Predator face, or you know, the head on the top left. At the bottom, you see a nice picture. I mean, that thing is gorgeous, of the Bad Blood Predator. Just a nice bust photo right there, as well as, you know, Bad Blood Predator and the logo, and at the bottom stating the over 25 points of articulation, and it includes a sword, a hunting spear, trophy heads, and skulls. Panning up now, you can see we have the two heads on the left side, as well as the skulls, which are kind of hidden behind the banner at the bottom. On the right, you can see the interchangeable hand, the handle of the the handle of the sword, I'm sorry, and half of the spear. Working your way up, you have a nice view of Bad Blood itself. And I'm not sure how well you can tell from the actual video or the image, but the bottom, the logo or the banner at the bottom is very foil-like. You know, it has that reflecting kind of paint job to it, or that reflecting design, and I love that. You know, I'm a huge fan of their usual displays they have, but this one just really makes it stand out, makes it glare or, you know, reflect off any light you have. So hopefully that catches well, but if not, you know, once you see it in person, you can really tell the difference in that paint. So going off to the back of the card now, you can see another beautiful image of Bad Blood at the top, taking up pretty much the entire card back. You do see kind of a, you know, see-through or transparent behind the banner right there. And then looking up at the top, I'll get that zoomed in, so if you want to read that and get a closer look at the image. So I'm not sure, again, as I said, I didn't read the Bad Blood comics, so I'm not sure if this is an image from the comic itself, or if it's just, you know, one of NECA's designs, or even a concept image of the Bad Blood Predator. Tongue twister right there. And as you can tell, we have the latest wave of the Predators as well. I do have the Elder version 2, which is my recent Predator video. The other two I'm not a big fan of, so I won't be picking those up. I do wish though, because this is sort of, well, not really an exclusive, but it's kind of a deluxe standalone figure aside from the wave. I do kind of wish NECA put some kind of maybe a scene or a page from the Bad Blood comics, or maybe some concept art from NECA or from Dark Horse, you know, just something other than the other Predator figures, because this isn't really part of the wave, even though they're released at the same time. But you know, nonetheless, I'm not disappointed in the packaging, huge fan of it. And without further ado, let's get this bad boy opened up and take a closer look at the figure. Alrighty, we have opened up Bad Blood, and wow, I mean, NECA, I am just, I'm almost speechless at this figure, just due to my collection of Predator figures, and even looking at the rest of the Predator line, I've never seen a Predator figure with this much badassness to the figure itself. Even with that being said, I haven't read the Bad Blood comics, so I'm not too sure how close it relates to the actual comic in NECA's styling or NECA's rendition, but without further ado, let's take a closer look at Bad Blood Predator. Right away, you can see all the incredible accessories and details and features that come on this figure. You can see, you know, you have the skulls and the skeletons, the cool accessories, and just the bloody paint, or I mean, well, yeah, the bloody features on the chest here, on the blades, on the sword, on the back of his hands, as you can see later on too. It is just detail unlike we've seen before. I mean, we've had battle damage and whatnot, but for whatever reason, this figure just stands out to me. I could be biased in the review, just loving this figure so much. I might, you know, exaggerate on a few things, but I'll try to, you know, keep it as real as I can to this video. So let's take a closer look at the head first. That was one thing, because I'm not too familiar or too keen on the Bad Blood story. I'm not exactly sure how Bad Blood looks in the comics as well, but from what I've heard, the tattoo and the, or not, I think the tattoos, if I'm not mistaken, but the aspects or designs on the actual head are very similar to the comic itself. And NECA did a phenomenal job at the paint. You can see, sorry about that, getting a little cough right there. You can see at the top here, there's like the little pink and some yellow, and then more pink and that design right there, and then the black spots and designs. It is just a incredible job that NECA was able to accomplish. And overall, the skin color or the skin tone throughout the body, it's almost a eggnog color, since, you know, getting into the holidays, the closest I can relate to it. It's that lighter, I guess, beige yellow eggnog color. That's the best similarity to relate to it. And it, I mean, it looks great. It looks just like a comic version of the Predator, and, you know, NECA did a phenomenal job at capturing that skin tone. Before we get into the rest of the figure, let's take a quick look at the accessories. So at the bottom, you can see his trophies that he carries around, or that I attached to his belt. Now, it is actually 4 trophies, I guess, but 3 separate pieces. This set of skulls right here is 1 piece. This skull is 1, or this head, I should say, is 1. And then the other head, which I took off for a close-up, is another trophy. And as you can see, it is just incredible, comic, human-like detail. You can see the blood coming out of the nose. I'm not too sure why the eyes are red. If that's how it is in the comic, by all means, thank you. But even in the comic, not quite sure why the eyes are red. If he was bleeding, or he or she, not sure what this is, but the other one is a male for sure. If this one was bleeding from the eyes, but can't really tell from that. Overall, too, just looking at it, it's just that fear, you know, about to be killed look. The mouth gaping open, same with the other head. I'll get a close-up too. Looking down at the wrinkles and the hair, just phenomenal detail. And the back. This is just my favorite part. You know, a lot of times companies might skimp or skip out on adding detail to something that might not always be noticed or seen when placed on a figure, especially with this. You know, you hook it on. Whoop, there goes the head. When you hook it on, you know it's going to be facing out, so you won't see the back of the head. But NECA just decided to go ahead, paint and put in details of the brain and the back of the head, cut in half, and they just did a phenomenal job. And you can see the hook as well coming in. Let me try to get that in focus. There we go. And the hook, it looks a little bit tight, but it is bendy, or bendable, so you can just kind of open it up, hook it in the belt, and then it'll kind of close on its own. Let me take off the other head to get a closer look as well. And this one, you can see even more wrinkles, more blood towards the mouth and nose also. The hair is just incredible detail, more of a darker skin tone on here. There's the ears as well, the side. And the back too, you can see it again, the head cut in half essentially, with the brains in the back. And this one kind of has more of a neck. This one seems to have a peg hole. Not sure if that was not painted or that's intentional, but the other one doesn't really have the full neck going on, so that could be, you know, the difference. And getting it on this belt is a little bit tricky. This belt is very tight to Bad Blood, and it's, you know, kind of fragile. So if you want to just open it up and get that sliding in there, if I can get that back in, there we go, and just rest. There isn't really another part of the figure to get these to hang. The belt is really the only place they go, unless you want to have him, you know, holding it in his other hand. And then this side, I'm not going to take off these skulls, simply because it is just too nerve-wracking, because it is one piece. This hook is not separated, or does not separate the skulls, and you have to squeeze in this skull into the belt. Just be very careful. I've heard other people, you know, ripping it, trying to do that, but I was able to do it without any issues. So just be very careful doing that. And taking a closer look at the skulls as well. These aren't human skulls, these are some other creature or animal skulls, and again, just phenomenal job by NECA. Capturing the detail, not leaving it, you know, just the plain white skulls, giving it that dirty look. And in the back of the skulls as well, giving it more detail to that, and you can see all the teeth at the bottom. So before getting into the weapons of the figure, let me take a look at the accessories, or the other accessories that come with it. So it does come with an interchangeable hand. Now the hand that I have on the figure is the interchangeable hand. This is the one that comes attached. And as you can see, you know, he has kind of the glove going on there. The bloody back of the hand. A little bit more blood on the inside. And just same old regular, or same old detail from the other Predator hands. And nothing wrong or nothing bad here. Just another phenomenal aspect of detail and paint that NECA adds to their figures. Now the other piece, which I'm not excited or not, you know, bummed about, is this dreadlock from, I believe, another Predator. From what I've heard, first I heard it was from Bad Blood that it got ripped off, and then I heard that Bad Blood actually ripped this off another Predator. So either way, if it's in the comics, that's great. You know, I love when NECA and other companies stay true to whatever origin story their characters or their figures are coming from. But with this, to me, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't really mind if it was there or not, because there isn't really a place to put this. You can't like put it on his head. I guess if you wanted to, you can slide it into the belt as well. But to me, it doesn't make a difference. But for the fans that like these sorts of things, I think it's really cool. And they didn't, you know, skip on a detail on this either. They have the bone and little gold knots coming in. So that's pretty cool too. And now taking a look at the accessories that I have on Bad Blood. The sword is the usual sword that comes with like Elder version 2, and I believe another 1 or 2 figures that come with the sword. I'm not going to take the sword out or that hand, simply because as the last few waves have shown, the interchangeable hands, or even the hands that are coming with the figure, do not like to stay on or pop in, you know, very nicely. It seems that the interchangeable hand on this one is just too small to pop in or, you know, click into the peg, and that the peg doesn't like to stay out or isn't pulled out far enough, and when you try pushing it in, the peg gets pushed in and it just creates a whole mess. So I've actually put a little bit of super glue to keep it in, because I don't plan on changing out that hand. So hopefully the glue holds it strong enough, so if I ever want to put in the spear, that won't be an issue. But, you know, as you can see the blood going on top, or going along the edge and almost top half of the sword. The handle is like the black leather handle going on, and, you know, Bad Blood just looks even more gruesome with the sword on. And then taking a look at the spear that comes with it, this is another weapon that I'm not gonna, well, actually the only other weapon that I'm not gonna take out, simply because the place you hook it into, this little loop, is also very fragile and very thin, that you might rip it, which I've seen other people do. I want to say if I watched Pixel Dan or someone else who did this review, actually Sehaman, sorry, you know, I don't want to say the wrong name, but I watched one of your reviews and it actually ripped, but, you know, it still kind of held the spear in. Luckily, I just took a little Phillips screwdriver and kind of rounded or widened the hole, because the hole is kind of oval and thin shaped. So I just very carefully rounded it and made it wider, and slowly, you know, centimeter by centimeter, moved in the spear, and it, you know, holds in perfect. And I love the spear too, and it's very simple, kind of like the 1800s fishing spear, that comparison. And at the bottom you can see like the leather grip that goes on with it, then the brown wood paint, and then coming up at the top you can see the little thorns or spikes out there. And it's actually a four-prong spear, not sure what to call it, but it has the single point and then the 4 edges that come out at the bottom. So that's really cool. You know, they did a nice job with that. The nice silver paintbrush going over that. And now let's take a closer look at the figure itself. So getting another look at the head. I believe this is the Berserker head, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. I didn't have a chance to ask Randy or take a closer look at the sculpt. Or well, comparing the sculpt, I should say. But if I'm not mistaken, it should be the unmasked Berserker head. If I am mistaken, feel free to comment and let me know which head this is, if it is not a new sculpt. but again, it's just, you know, phenomenal paint, and I love the detail up here, kind of the fins or petals, whatever you want to call this part of the skull, and then the more outer part here. Taking a closer look at the eyes, if I can get that. The eyes are a little bit off. The right eye, or looking at the screen, the left eye is a little bit higher up and smaller, so it gives it that awkward look, but it is so deep in, and you know, the black around it, the black eyeshadow, it doesn't, you know, hinder it or too much, or doesn't make it too noticeable, and it gives it the more gruesome dead eye look, which is just really cool. And giving a nice look in the mouth, if I can get that zoomed in, there we go. The prongs, the open mouth look, and it almost looks like the baleen that you see in whales. Just, you know, incredible design right there. And you can see he has the little eyebrow ring or eyebrow piercing. They did, you know, sometimes the fangs, the mandibles are a little bit more white than usual, but you know, they did a nice job of keeping it that dirty look to that. As you can see, the hair as well has the gold, the brighter gold knots in it, so that's pretty nice. Going to the back, nice detail as always, and as usual, the loose, or you know, bendable plastic, or rubber I should say. And then moving down, you can see the chest armor. It's not too much of an armor, you know, just kind of the shoulder straps, but it connects to this shoulder pad that has this huge spine coming out of it, and that is just, you know, incredible. Like I've said, we haven't seen this on any other figures. It is a bendable rubber, but you know, it's not meant to actually be bent. But you know, they're just incredible, that dirty look to it, that rusted old copper look on the shoulder. Moving into the back as well, it looks like, you know, a place that he could be holding a plasma cannon, and not sure what these prongs or these holes are for. I'm sure there's something that you can attach to it, or if you know, you have another accessory you can attach to that too. But again, just incredible detail going through that more copper look. And then coming on to his left shoulder, it's actually a predator skull that he attaches on his shoulder pad. And it's just, you know, I mean, this thing is badass. Just the whole skull looking there, even the teeth are still attached, even the hair, you know, it's still attached. It's not, it seems like it's mostly glued and attached to the shoulder, so don't try pulling that off. But that is just an incredible look. It's just so badass, so gruesome. I mean, I love it. It's I'm a huge fan of this. I'm just gawking at how incredible and all the detail that they put in this. Coming down to the wrist, you can see more of a spine or another part of the skeleton, and again, the copper look. And going to the other side where the wrist blade is, or gauntlet, and don't want to get that in the way. More of the skeleton here, and the blades are actually a 3-prong blade, unlike the usual 2, and again, the bloody feature on there, and that is just, you know, incredible. And more gruesome and more badass from the Bad Blood Predator. And it does seem, you know, I'm assuming they put a new sculpt on that to fit the three blades on here. So it does look a little bit bigger. And then moving down here, as I said before, the belt is just very thin, but keeping the groin area covered, and moving to the back, the smaller buttocks area being covered. And at the bottom you can see more skulls, 2 different skulls again for the knee pads, and they don't hinder the knee articulation at all. I'll get into that when I go over all the articulation, but again, more just incredible detail and paint on that. The darker gray, you see the teeth are browned up a little bit of yellow, and more spines and skeletons attached to the shins, or the back, or I guess the side of the calves, and more copper padding at the legs. Coming back up here too, it does seem like he has a place to hold the, oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but the other weapon that some of the other figures hold. Again, if anyone wants to tell me a little bit of the story, if he ever had that weapon, or he just happens to carry around this holster for it, or if he maybe lost it or threw it and never picked it up. But it's still cool to see that as another accessory and feature on him. So now let's get into the articulation. They did improve, you know, the head. I know the Elder and the Ahab kind of had some issues with the head falling off, so no issues there. You know, kind of not too much movement at all though because of this side. but you can still get a little bit of movement, not back at all, not actually can't move it at all, front and back, unless mine is just awkward and tight. But going to the right arm, again, a little bit hindered, but still can get good rotation, all the way in, up a little bit, and back. And then at the elbow, the twist. And in this hand, I won't move because of, the issues I stated. This arm, moves a little bit more. It's not, this skull doesn't really hinder it. Twist again, and the hand as well. Oop, let me get that more into view. The waist, a little bit tight, but again, the waist twists a little bit. The legs on the ball joints do move, and as I said, the knees are double jointed, and the skulls at the knee pads don't hinder it at all, so don't worry about that. And the usual feet, the twist and slight and bending as well. Let me make sure that's still in. There we go. Oh, and the head. The hooks aren't too, secure, so they might fall out if you play with it too much. But I guess there it is. There we have it. Just this incredible bad blood figure. Actually, I don't know if I did mention about the hand, but with the hand, it was a little bit of a pain getting that on. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but NECA seems to be having those issues with the interchangeable hands or the other parts of the hands. So hopefully in the next wave they can get that fixed. And just as a comparison, here he is next to Ahab to get, two of the latest badass predators together. So that's pretty cool. Basically, the same height, the same sculpt and whatnot. Make sure he doesn't fall there. And there we have it. Again, going over the paint, actually I just noticed a few parts are unpainted, which is a little bit unfortunate, which also seems to be an issue in NECA's quality control. At here, it's not too bad, a little bit missing here. But then on the back as well, it seems they forgot to paint that part, the underbelt, but nothing noticeable, nothing to worry about too much. I can just go over it with my own paint or a Sharpie or something. But there we have it, folks. Sorry, I apologize if midway it seemed like the video paused and I had to add another segment, but hope you all enjoyed again. Hope you all come back to watch this video. I know it's been a while, but huge thank you to Lindsay's Toy Room for finally getting me this figure. I know NECA is kind of delaying their shipments to online retailers, but thank you, Lindsay's Toy Room, again for getting this to me as fast as you can. Everyone go visit her for all your NECA needs, all your Predator needs, and all her latest shipments and figures that are coming in. And stay tuned for my next video. Thank you all for the support, and see you later.